Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at something pretty intense. The build-up to the Battle of Tabuk.
Right, it's this massive military campaign, the largest army assembled yet.
And not just large, but assembled under incredibly difficult conditions. We're talking peak summer heat, almost no central resources.
Exactly, they call it the Army of Hardship, and it really tested everyone's loyalty.
That's what's so fascinating, isn't it? The sources show this huge split. You've got deep devotion on one side and, well, outright conspiracy on the other.
Absolutely, it's a stark contrast. The pressure really brought out the best and, frankly, the worst in people.
Let's just dive straight in with maybe the most, let's say, memorable example of resistance. Jud bin Ji.
Ah, yes, Jud bin Ji.
Yeah.
His excuse is something else.
So the context is crucial. The campaign is against the powerful Byzantines. It's tough, requires commitment, and Jud is asked to join.
And he's not poor, mind you. He's wealthy.
Yeah.
But he asks to be excused, says, don't put me into trial.
But the reason he gives, it wasn't the heat or the danger, primarily.
No. He claims, and this is recorded, that his tribe knows he has a strong desire for women.
Right.
And he's afraid that if he sees the Byzantine women, the Roman women, he won't be able to resist them. He'd fall into temptation.
It's just, oh, wow. Using potential moral weakness as an excuse to avoid duty.
It's quite something.
Yeah.
And the prophet's response was very direct. Just, okay, fine, be gone. Dismissed him.
But the story doesn't end there, does it? There's this intense family conflict. His son, Abdullah bin Jad.
A completely different character. Very sincere, very devoted. He confronts his father.
Calls him out for hypocrisy, right? Especially given his wealth not going himself and not even helping fund others.
Exactly. He points out, nobody in our tribe is wealthier than you. And the father just talks about the heat, the difficulty, comfort over everything else.
And the son even predicts a Quranic verse will come down about people like his father.
Which it did. Surah at-Taba addresses those who say, give us leave and do not put us on trial. It shows how immediate and profound the spiritual impact was.
So Jud bin Ji is one example. But this resistance wasn't just isolated incidents. There was an organized element.
Oh, definitely. Abdullah bin Ubay, a known leader of the hypocrites, was central to this. But they even had a physical base of operations.
A meeting place.
Yes, a house near a well. Jazjum, or Jadis, the sources say.
Yeah.
Here, hypocrites and some Jewish individuals would gather specifically to spread rumors.
Actively trying to undermine the whole effort, demotivate people.
Precisely. Sowing doubt, spreading negativity, trying to fracture the unity needed for such a huge undertaking.
So how did the leadership handle this? I mean, usually the approach was patience, right?
It usually was for individual failings. But this was different. This is an organized attack on the very integrity of the community's effort, a systemic threat.
Okay, so a different kind of response was needed.
Yes. When the whole system is threatened, you need decisive action. The prophet recognized this was undermining the entire campaign.
So what did he do?
He ordered the destruction of that center, specifically instructed individuals like Talha bin Abdullah to set the mud house on fire.
Wow, really? Setting it on fire?
Yes. A clear strategic move to eliminate the hub of this negative propaganda. There's even an anecdote about a hypocrite named Jud bin Khalifa getting injured falling off the roof trying to escape.
That's a strong message. But what about the people involved? Were they arrested, punished further?
And this is where the balance is really striking. No. After the center was destroyed, the sources are clear. No arrests, no further sanctions against those specific conspirators.
So stop the organized threat, but not necessarily pursue individuals beyond that point.
Seems to be the principle, yes. Address the systemic danger first.
Okay, so we've seen the resistance, the darker side exposed by this pressure, but let's flip that coin. The same pressure revealed incredible sincerity.
Absolutely incredible. We have to remember why it was called the Army of Hardship. The treasury was empty, funding 30,000 soldiers for a long, arduous journey. It was a huge ask.
Which leads to this really moving story of the Al-Baka'un, the crying companions.
Exactly. These were devoted Muslims, often poor, who desperately wanted to go. They had the will, but not the means.
They came to the prophet asking for help, right? For a mount, an animal to ride.
Yes, pleading for just the basic means to join the campaign. And the prophet had to tell them, I have nothing left to give you. Nothing.
Imagine hearing that. And their reaction.
They turned away, weeping. Not just crying, but eyes literally overflowing with tears, not out of self-pity, but out of grief and helplessness, because they couldn't serve. They couldn't participate.
That level of desire, it's powerful. The desire to sacrifice being the key thing.
And it was so profound that this specific moment, these individuals often numbered at 7, though some sources say more are mentioned in the Quran, they are memorialized.
And their sincerity actually inspired others, didn't it? The wealthier companions saw this.
It did. It spurred generosity. People like Hasman gave 3 camels. Hazabas provided supplies and a mount for 2 others. They made sure those 7 weeping men could actually go.
It shows the community mechanism kicking in when the central system couldn't cope. Sincerity breeding generosity.
Precisely. It's a beautiful example of that dynamic.
There's another story linked to this scarcity involving Abu Musa Shari's tribe and an oath. Can you walk us through that?
Yes, this one gives us a really interesting cultural insight. So Abu Musa Shari and his tribesmen also came asking for mounts.
And again, the prophet had none to give.
Right. But this time, because they were perhaps more insistent, or maybe because they were newer converts and less accustomed to the situation, the prophet swore an oath. Wallahi, by God, I have nothing to give.
Okay, swearing an oath. But why? If he was just telling the truth, why the need for an oath?
This is the key point. It wasn't about verifying the truth for himself or those who knew him well. It was a communication tool for that specific audience.
How so?
Well, the understanding is that some groups, maybe less refined or newer to the community, often suspected leaders of holding back, making excuses. An oath was the culturally understood way to say, this is the absolute truth, stop asking.
Ah, I see. So it was like saying, seriously, there's nothing. Let's move on. A tool for efficiency.
Exactly. Do not waste my time. The resources simply aren't here. And later, when some camels did arrive as a gift, he immediately sent for Abu Musa's group and gave them mounts.
And he clarified it then?
Yes, he made it clear.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't provide them from his own stash, essentially, but that Allah had made the arrangements. It reinforces the point about the oath being a specific communication tactic for that moment.
And what were Abu Musa's tribe actually asking for? Was it camels? Horses?
That's another striking detail. No.
Yeah.
Their initial request, or at least the request they made, wasn't even for mounts. It was for sandals. Shoes.
Just shoes.
Yes, because they couldn't walk the massive distance barefoot.
Oh, yeah.
It just shows the absolute baseline of their commitment. Just give us footwear so we can keep up. Incredible zeal.
Okay, let's talk scale and structure. We're talking maybe 30,000 soldiers, 10,000 cavalry. That's huge.
It's the largest force assembled up to that point, yes.
Yeah.
The numbers vary slightly in traditions. Some even go higher. But 30,000 is the general consensus. Managing that, plus keeping Medina secure, required careful delegation.
Right, so deputies had to be appointed in Medina. The sources list a few names: Ali, Muhammad bin Muslima, Abdullah bin Abdul Maktoum, maybe bin Hira too. It can seem a bit confusing.
It can, but there seems to have been a clear division of labor. Ali was specifically entrusted with the Prophet's immediate family and household, the Al, very important personal trust.
Okay, and Muhammad bin Muslima.
He seems to have been responsible for the general civil administration of Medina, keeping the city running day to day.
Got it. And Abdullah bin Abdul Maktoum, he was blind, correct?
Yes, and his crucial role was leading the prayers in the Prophet's mosque, maintaining the spiritual heart of the community. Bin Hira's role is less defined, maybe more administrative support, but the core functions family, state, prayer were covered.
Now, leaving Ali behind, despite that crucial role, sparked more rumors, didn't it?
It did. The hypocrites immediately seized on it, spreading the idea that Ali was left behind because he was a burden, or somehow out of favor.
Malicious gossip, basically. And it affected Ali.
Deeply. He became anxious. Understandably, he actually rode out about 3 kilometers to Jerf, where the army was gathering, to seek clarification directly from the Prophet.
And this leads to that really famous, profound statement.
Yes. The Prophet reassured him in a way that highlighted his status and silenced the critics.
Yeah.
He asked Ali, "Are you not happy that you are to me like Aaron was to Moses?"
Except that there is no prophet after me.
Exactly. That analogy placed Ali in the position of the trusted deputy, the one who maintains things in the leader's absence, just like Aaron for Moses, a massive affirmation of his importance and trustworthiness.
So the army marches, but there's one last act of sabotage to deal with.
One last symbolic gesture from Abdullah bin Ubay. He initially marched out with his group from Medina, making it look like they were joining.
On performance.
Totally.
Yeah.
They went as far as Satul, a place nearby. But as soon as the main army moved forward, he and his followers just turned around and went back to Medina.
And not quietly, I assume.
No, mocking the Muslims, saying things like, "Are they really going to fight the Romans in this heat?" Trying to demoralize anyone who might still be wavering.
But it didn't work. He didn't cause a mass defection.
No. Just like his attempt at Uhud, his power to truly fracture the core community failed. The army marched on.
Okay, so from outright conspiracy to tearful devotion. It's such a range. Which brings us to one final story you mentioned about discipline and permission, the servant.
Right, this one really ties together zeal and proper conduct. You had this servant or slave who is fully armed, ready, eager to fight.
Got the gear, got the spirit.
Got everything, it seems, except one thing. His master's permission to leave his duties and join the army.
And the prophet's reaction.
He told him to go back immediately. And he stated very clearly that if he were to fight and die without that permission, he would face the fire.
Wow. So even in this critical moment, the principle of trustworthiness, fulfilling your existing obligations, getting authorization was paramount.
Exactly. Zeal is vital, but it has to be channeled correctly, within the bounds of duty and permission. It's not a free-for-all.
We've really covered a huge spectrum here, haven't we? From Jud Binji's, frankly, indecent excuse to the al-Baka'un weeping because they couldn't go, and now this servant being told not to go without permission.
It's an incredible snapshot of human nature under pressure. How crisis reveals character, the calculations, the fears, the profound desire to contribute, and the need for disciplined action.
It really makes you think. So let's leave our listeners with a final thought, tying together those extremes of sincerity we saw.
Okay.
You have the al-Baka'un, the sincere companions, grieving because their lack of resources physically prevented them from serving. Their desire was immense, but they lacked the means.
Right, their sorrow was about inability.
Then you have the servant, who had the means, the zeal, and the desire, but was admonished for attempting to serve without proper authorization, without fulfilling his prior obligations.
The issue there was discipline and permission.
Exactly. So here's the thought for you. What does this contrast the grief over inability versus the need for authorized action, even with desire, teach you about loyalty, duty, and maybe even commitment in your own life, in your own communities or organizations today? Where does pure desire end and disciplined responsibility begin?